effort to conserve on energy usage through different kinds of lighting is the decision by the regulators to allow the electric utilities to actually earn money by reducing the demand. So the way the industries, the companies who are selling LED systems and the fluorescent systems and other types of systems that conserve got enough push to move forward was to convince the regulators to allow the utilities to actually earn money if they reduce their overall demand in California. And that's a different model from what typically has happened in the electric industry.
And that's a great point, actually. Steve, I'm going to move a bit from lighting to another piece of energy efficiency, which is getting a lot of focus, and you've been spending quite a lot of time on this. It's a smart grid. Okay, there's a joke in the Valley that you can go to biofuels or rental and somehow make its way to smart grid. So what is the future of the smart grid? What are some of the things that you're looking at? You obviously have an investment in Silver Spring Network, so for the audience, maybe you can give a brief background on what the company is doing and show the things.
Sure. Well, the irony of your opening comment is actually, I think when I met with Tony about the first Going Green conference, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, he was sort of showing me his lineup of clean tech sectors, and everybody has their own taxonomy. Folks have done clean tech before you. Jennifer probably has 12 buckets, I have 7 buckets, maybe somebody else has 30. And I looked through sort of his categories, Tony's categories of different companies and panels, and there was nothing on the grid. And I said, well, Tony, this is sort of the glue. This is the network, as it were, that brings all the renewables onto the grid, and the ability for utilities to manage all these new assets, to get more visibility. And so for Tony, it was a surprise because it didn't seem like it was part of clean tech. For us, it was pretty obvious, but we've been working on what is now called the smart grid since 2002 timeframe. So in fact, my partner Paul Holland was a judge on the Dartmouth business plan competition back in April of 2002 when he met 2 entrepreneurs. Actually, they were still in business school at the time, Tim Healy and David Brewster, and they had this idea related to what Charlie just said, which was how do I make it a lot easier for utilities to take loads off of the grid? So for those 10 hours a year, usually it's in the summertime here in California, it's summertime and in the wintertime back east. How do I actually make demand reduction look like a resource to utilities? How do I, instead of firing up a peaking power plant, is there a way for me to work with large users of energy, retail outlets, hotels, industrial customers, to basically turn load back? And to a utility, it looks like they've just basically brought resources online. Sometimes those loads are lighting loads. If I turned off a third of the lights in the lobby, probably no one would notice, and yet we could probably save a fair bit of money. So anyway, so that was sort of the seed corn of our interest in smart grid and demand response. This company actually turns out to be Anup, which is also a DFJ company.
Yeah, I remember meeting those guys back then too.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't invest in the first round, but we followed the guys' progress and invested in Series B, and the company is now public, actually 2 years public. It has roughly 3.5 gigawatts under management today. So think about on the order of 6 or 7 coal-fired power plants worth of capacity, but it's all clean. It's effectively turning things off instead of building them on. So the smart grid, and just briefly on Silver Spring, for us the smart grid is sort of an obvious area of investment because we were all sort of IT investors. We were folks who had come out of most of the industries that were born here in Silicon Valley, so networking, telecom, infrastructure, software and semiconductors, and we looked at this energy infrastructure and utility industry, and we basically said, look, the products, the services, the networks were all 30 years old, sometimes older. Many of them had actually been put in the ground as part of the Rural Electrification Administration in the 40s and 50s. So we basically said, why can't we bring IT? Why can't we bring networking technology? Why can't we bring all the goodness of Silicon Valley into these industries and shine a bright light on where the inefficiencies are and maybe build some really interesting new business models in the process. So Silver Spring Networks think of it as Cisco for the grid. Today, a utility, if you as a customer have an outage, The utility basically waits for you to pick up the phone, not usually in a happy voice, and tell them that you have an outage. And when you want to turn your service on or off, if you're moving or you have other issues, today the utility is sort of the last one to know. And our sort of point of view was, boy, it's the year 2009. Why can't PG&E actually read a meter remotely? And well, today another 6,000 smart meters from Silver Spring went in the ground, and they're able to do that. There's now actually roughly 1 million smart meters from Silver Spring going to their total territory of 4.5 million. So for us, it's sort of bring all the goodness of Silicon Valley information technology, which hopefully resonates with a lot of the entrepreneurs in this room, into some of these industries that really have been starved.
And that's why we're seeing a shift from a lot of people who are trying to move into clean tech, basically trying to go primarily to the smart grid area. Charlie, you have worked a bit on the smart grid area from the utilities perspective too, so maybe you can share some of that.
Well, I'll put this in the category of a short-term investment, but on the longer term, the interesting thing about the smart grid, particularly the smart meters that all of us who live here in the northern California will get from PG&E sooner or later. They're actually in the process of installing it right now. Eventually, all of our homes will have smart meters, which will allow the utility to control various things, or us to monitor how we want to control electric devices in our homes. But once all of the smart grid infrastructure is installed, it is the foundation for the next step up, which is to bring broadband into our homes through our electric outlets. So
and there was an effort to do that several years ago.
We tried it here. PG&E and AT&T were going to do it here in Palo Alto. I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago, and unfortunately AT&T pulled out of the project because it got purchased by SEC and went a different route. But the investment today in the smart grid is an investment long-term in another way of bringing media into the homes in a very easy way.
And Jennifer, are you seeing innovation from the software side of things? I mean, there's a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to work in the energy efficiency space, but from a software perspective. And Steve has invested in a company called eMeter too. Is that there's going to be a lot of data coming back and forth between utilities and consumers, and anything you can talk about on the software side of things?
Well, so